Up next for Liverpool is Brighton and Hove Albion at Anfield in the Premier League, and lots of things to discuss on the pitch, off the pitch. So let's start right away. Welcome to the Marching Reds. I am Aman Chima, and here I am to preview the game week 16 fixture for both teams in this season's Premier League. It's going to be played at Anfield, and although some might argue that we've lost the fear factor, specifically playing at home, the last three or four results have looked a bit on the upward trend, although we drew two, we won two, and the both games that we won were away games, and the last two games that we played at Anfield were like humbling defeats, both with a three-goal deficit, and that is what I don't want to focus my energies on. I would rather focus on the collective team effort that we showed against Inter in the Champions League midweek and build on from there. So let's discuss the current squad status. Who's injured, who's not. Cody Gakpo, Arne Slot confirmed again, would be out for a few weeks. So would be Wataru Endo. Cody has a muscular injury. Wataru has an ankle injury, so they will be out for a few weeks or so. Frimpong is still out, and Mohamed Salah, whether he's in or out, your guess is as good as mine because no decision as of now has been made on his availability. Of course, it would be the last game he would play for Liverpool before he goes to the AFCON tournament. And what will happen after? You can take a guess, I can take a guess, but that would be something which won't be of that much of focus if I just look at the game over the weekend. So yeah, I mean, in terms of the options that are available to Arne Slot, it would be on a more of a similar lineup to what he played against Inter. And the only difference might be that Alexander Isak picked up a minor knock. So you would have to just judge whether he's capable enough to start, give us a 60, 70-minute performance, or he is just fit enough to start on the bench and maybe come on in the second half. So yeah, let's start making the lineup together. In goal, it has to be Allison. Uh, things do look assured when he's in between the sticks. In the right back position, Joe Gomez started against Inter. Connor Bradley is suspended, so I was a little bit perplexed on like why Connor Bradley did not start because only of the fact that he is suspended for this game. And I just thought that if Connor Bradley starts the Inter game, maybe plays the whole 90, or like Joe Gomez comes on very late. Joe Gomez with his injury record, which is not that good, he can get a few minutes in his legs and be fully ready for the Brighton game. So it would be Joe Gomez starting in the right back position. Uh, Centre backs, Konate Van Dijk. In the left back position, after the fact that Andy Robertson had a very good performance against Inter, I think we would be seeing Milos Kerkez back in that position because the way Brighton plays, they like to press up high. And once we do beat that press, if and when we do beat that press, it would be really nice to have another attacking option once we start getting the ball forward on the pitch. So that would be my back four in terms of the midfield and in terms of the formation that we might play. Gravenberg has to start. McAllister has been looking good over the past 2 or 3 games or so. He would get a start for me. Soboslai, the dependable guy of Liverpool for this season, he'll get a start too. Curtis Jones should get a start as well because he looked very bright against Inter. He had a few good moments, but then he could also provide us with that control when we had that possession. And this would be my midfield with Florian Wirtz starting in place of Isaac and Hugo Ekitike as the number 9. So what sort of formation would we go for? Would it be a 4-2-3-1 with like Florian Wirtz on the left flank, Soboslai on the right flank, uh, and then either Curtis Jones or McAllister playing as that number 10 with Grab and the other person being that double pivot with Gravenberg, or would it be a 4-4-1-1 or a 4-4-2 with like two lines of four and Florian Wirtz having that freedom to either play as the second striker or just behind Ekitike coming from the left. So we've got a lot of options that we could be switching formations in between also. So it would be really interesting to see how Arne Slot would approach this game because, mind you, although Brighton is currently sitting above us in the Premier League table, but their results have been a little inconsistent, if I can say so, because they've been winning a few games, they've been losing a few games. For example, they lost to Aston Villa at home, who, mind you, have been on a great form. Uh, that was a very high scoring game. I think it ended up 3-4 in the favor of Aston Villa, and then they drew against West Ham in a very interesting circumstance where I think they were playing at home. They conceded early, and then it was, I think, in the injury time or so in the second half that they got their equalizer. So you just never know what to expect in terms of the performance from the Seagulls. But you are very well aware of the threat that they have because the players like Mitoma, Minte, Welbeck, who is aging like fine wine, you just know that they are very, very threatening. And looking at the last season game, we conceded the first goal in the first half. Uh, then it was Cody Gakpo, who is not available for us, who scored the equalizer in the second half. And then there was this electrifying strike from our Egyptian king, Mohamed Salah, for that second goal. And then we just hung on to that one goal lead. And just like Arne Slot has said numerous times, that it's a game of fine margins, it's a league of fine margins. Back then, definitely it was a fine margin victory. And in this game, uh, it would be tough because they can be explosive, but they can also concede goals. So you just never know what sort of Brighton would show up. And looking at Liverpool, the last few results have looked good. Of course, we would have liked a few more points against Sunderland and Leeds because those were winnable fixtures with all due respect to both teams. But we lost on 2 points on each of that occasion. But we won against West Ham away. We won against Inter away, which was a tough, tough fixture. And yeah, in the last four games, we've been unbeaten. But instead of saying that, I would rather prefer saying that we are on a winning streak now and we can make it 2 wins in two starting against Brighton. And I don't want to jinx it. Score predictions, I would love a good 2-3 nil, if I can say so, because that would make two clean sheets in a row, back to winning ways at Anfield. And that would just mean either a Florian Wirtz or a Ekitike or a maybe Isaac, maybe some player from the midfield would be getting involved in the offensive action, and that would be something that we would like to see. And yeah, I mean, it's looking like just another game, but for all the Liverpool fans, they know that if they need to get any sort of momentum, this is the game that they need to show up to and have that right mentality. Whether it's with Mohamed Salah, whether it's without Mohamed Salah, of course, don't get me wrong. I would love to have him in the squad, maybe even get a start, but only if he is coming with the right mindset. Because I don't want any player nearby my team who is not in the perfect frame of mind and would potentially cause any unwanted skepticism within the team. And I don't want anything to have any sort of not so positive effect in the dressing room. So if that's the case, maybe it's better that we go without Mohamed Salah. But even I know the quality that he has, but nothing comes over the badge, nothing comes over the club. And I would rather get 3 points without Mohamed Salah rather than getting just a point with Mohamed Salah. Don't get me wrong, I'm not implying that if Mohamed Salah plays, we're definitely not going to win. But if I have to pick a situation where my team is winning over a player getting a start or like his way around, I would definitely choose the former over the latter. So yeah, I mean, the best thing about the next few games is that we've got a 5-6 day period to recover from, given the fact that we're out of the Carabao Cup, so no extra fixtures for us to play. But that can only be of any advantage to us if we start giving in those performances consistently, which would hopefully turn into positive results. And now a positive result is not even a draw. It has to be 3 points. It has to be a victory. And we need to start getting up in the table, because although it looks very tight, but in a matter of few games, either we can be totally out of the race, or we could be right up there where teams start chasing us. So yeah, I'm expecting a lively game. I'm expecting an end-to-end game. I would be surprised if it gets a little boring, or like if it becomes passive. Of course, you'll get moments where like Liverpool would be under pressure, where like Brighton would be trying to impose themselves because they know how close they were last season. And with the fact that they beat us when we played them at their home, of course, that was a different context because we were already the Premier League champions back then. But knowing the fact that the differences are very small, they would they would really would like to hurt us, because at this point of time, everybody wants to have a crack at Liverpool, and they won't be the team who would be shying away from it. So you let me know in the comment section on how you think Arne Slot should approach this game. You think Mohamed Salah should be named in the squad? Should he not be named in the squad? Should he be named in the 11 and not on the bench if he's named in the squad? So let me know how you think about that situation, which is developing as we speak. You think Liverpool gets 3 points? You think I won't even mention the other situations for that matter. So yeah, if you like this video, let me know by liking this video and also subscribing to the Marching Reds. Let me know your score predictions in the comment section below as well. I will see you in the review of this game. Till then, take care.